Yeah, that's the video about a very common situation now in Vietnam. And is there any idea that you have after watching that video?
Well, obviously, a great deal of sadness that that sort of thing is really quite relevant and quite prevalent in Vietnam. It happens, it certainly used to happen a lot. There's both an integrity issue, but also a delay issue. And obviously, like all good things in Vietnam, a paperwork issue. But I think the situation is beginning to change a little bit, and I'm sure we can talk about some things that ways of protecting investors and end users in the future.
Yeah, and so from your point of view, is there anything that you consider as a keynote for a buyer when they buy a house?
Well, apart from obviously the price and the payment terms, I think reputation is very important in Vietnam. In 2006 and 2007, there were a lot of new first-time developers, and now quite a few developers have a track record. And I think looking at that track record and seeing what the developers have done in the past, how the projects have ended up, what's the service charge, look at their website, talk to friends that may own a unit there, go and look at how it was finished, how it looks after 5 years' time. Do they still spend money on the landscaping, the security? Are there enough motorbikes in car parks? These are things, check the feng shui. You know, the social media will tell you if there's a sort of lot of heat around a particular developer, maybe negative heat or maybe positive heat. I was at a launch at the weekend, and this particular developer's done 9 or 10 projects. They have a lot of customer feedback, and you go to the project, and the developer himself is there, the chairman of the company is there. He's very accessible. He's not protected by a whole load of group of people that are trying to keep him away from potential buyers. He's there to answer questions. And I think that is a good sign. Other developers are very standoffish. There isn't much on the website, and you may not hear good things about their projects in the past. So there's the concept of consumer protection. Again, is no longer in its infancy. We've seen legislation last year of how if a developer promises you 90 square meters, they've got to give you 90 square meters, and how it's broken up and how it's measured. So these are important things, and will hopefully make this sort of story that we've just heard about a little bit less ordinary.
According to what you just saying, the reputation and ability of the developers is a key point, the most important things. So how can we clarify the capacity of the developer?
Well, you do take a risk because obviously you're buying off the plan. Obviously a developer, or most developers now, will have their sales gallery right on site. They can only start selling when the foundation work has been done, which typically is the basement car parking or the piles, and go and inspect them, go and have a look at night. Are they working at the weekends? Are they working at night? Is there a good chance, from a layman's point of view, that the project will be finished on time? If they're saying it'll all be finished in 2 months' time, and they still haven't put the windows in or finished the top floor, and the escalators and elevators aren't in, then obviously you should worry. Ask questions. Obviously, again, go and look at other developments. All around the city now, there are big construction sites. I live in front of a very, 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 very big one, and they're pouring concrete every night, some of which they wouldn't, but I understand they've got to get the project finished. Don't go and look at a project once. Go and look at it many times. Go back, ask lots of questions. Typically, developers are quite happy to show you around on numerous times. Ask to see the contractor. I think if the developer says no, and he doesn't want to meet the architect or the designer, or to see the finishes, then I think there's a red flag there.
Yeah. So at this moment, since you have been working in real estate in Vietnam for over 12 years, do you think that there is anything to protect the real estate buyers in Vietnam?
Well, there's a lot and lots and lots of paperwork to sign, and that's obviously a huge contract. I think certainly in the first round that I was here, when market was very active, 2006 to 2008, everything was skewed right in favor of the developer. The payment terms, there were no guarantees, no warranties. everything was, if the developer was if missed deadlines, there was no penalty. Now there's a lot in there in a contract that will typically protect a buyer. And I think, I wouldn't say it's a level playing field, but I think it's a little bit more balanced. There was a huge amount of pushback, particularly in Hanoi, regarding service charges, management charges, who the manager was going to be of the property, the owners committee. And every time there was pushback, it was in the newspaper and often on TV. And one or two developers really lost their reputation or had a lot of reputational damage. Now people are much, much more aware of their rights. And obviously for a big contract, a 30, 40, 50-page contract, you know, you should ask a lawyer to check it and try and get some balance. Many developers won't accept any change to the contract. And again, that's probably not a particularly fair thing. But again, if your lawyer has a good point, and is not just trying to be argumentative for the sake of it, then I think some developers will certainly listen. But again, as the market heats up, it's take it or leave it. And you know, there's a large part of the Vietnam psyche where if you buy, then I should buy, and if you bought it in one development, I should buy in another. And you know, I think people have got to work out what is their budget, what can they afford, where do they want to buy, and not just jump on this sort of speculators bandwagon, which is just beginning to happen again.
That's very impressive about what you just saying. Okay. Okay, cái này.
We do this as a living, so.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And thank you for your time.
Not at all. That's okay. Oh, not yet. You want more?
Okay, goodbye.
Oh, sorry.
Goodbye. Okay, just like we still like tapping, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thank you for your time today.
Not at all. I should, of course, say